I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're diving into a powerful book. It is called The Ghost of Henry VIII, A Tudor Haunting. It is a gripping historical fiction thriller written by a terrific author by the name of Keith Coy. It blends royal drama with chilling paranormal twists. Set during the final days of King Henry VIII's reign, this story explores the dark and ghostly reckoning of a monarch haunted by his past. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below the interview. Keith, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Crawford.
It's my pleasure. You did great job on this book, great work on this book, I should say. What inspired you to combine the Tudors with a paranormal twist?
Well, it all started back in 2012 when I went on a ghost tour at Henry's famous palace at Hampton Court Palace here in England. And one of the tour guides mentioned that Henry spoke his final words as monks, 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 which I have included in my book at the end. And I got to thinking, well, what if he saw Cardinal Wolsey? What if he saw the ghosts of his former wife, Catherine of Aragon, his best friend, Thomas More? And then as I developed and deep dived into my story, other ideas just popped into my head, scenes that just really stuck with me as I was developing my story. And I just went from there and I just started putting together ideas, putting it on the back burner, bringing it forward, putting more ideas to it, cutting ideas out. And in the end, what I did, I just started to write it down. And then once I got a story that I was happy with, I started to tweak it, and that's what we have today.
Well, you did great work on it. It's so imaginative. Have you envisioned this book as a movie or a film?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, I think it would be
I'd
great
love
because it's
to
so
see it on the
original.
big screen. Yeah, I'd love to see it on the big screen.
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. Is this the first time you've written a book?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, you did a great job on this, no doubt. Did you have to do a lot of research? Tell us what it was like writing it.
Oh, yes. The research was quite easy because I've been studying the Tudor period since I was a little boy, a young lad here in England. When I first started learning about Henry VIII, I just something struck me with him, and I've been stuck learning about him, going on more and more tours and things like that to try and find out more about him, and then diving in and finding there were more Tudors, there were more people historically linked to the Tudors, and that was it. I was just gripped.
Amazing, amazing. Do you see Henry VIII as a villain, a victim, or something in between?
Uh, Something in between. So, as I did in my book, I tried to make him sort of like go from being this godlike figure to being this sort of how he repents and how he goes to the grave knowing that he has done wrong in life and that he really should have taken a different path. And by bringing the ghosts of his past back to challenge him on his reign, I tried to incorporate what they would have said to him if they had sort of come back and spoken to him about his reign.
Hmm. Yeah. Is there a favorite part of the book? Is there a part of the book that you like best, or a scene or something that you, when you wrote it, you're like, wow, that turned out even
Yeah.
better than I
Oh, yeah.
expected?
Yeah. In chapter one,
Tell
where
us about
Henry
that.
sees. Thank you. Yes, it's where Henry sees the ghost of Cardinal Wolsey for the first time,
Hmm.
and he sort of stares at him, and then all of a sudden they get this sort of in scene where he gets tense, and then Wolsey just points that finger and in an eerie sort of ghost-like moan goes, Tudor. I can't do Ghost Unknown, sorry. But
You
that
did a good
I
job.
see that every time, even now after it's been published, I still see that scene and it gives me chills. I mean, I've just given myself goosebumps.
I think I got him too. That was good. That was a good impression. Tudor. I like it.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. Excellent work. How long did it take you to write this book?
On and off, about 12 years.
12 years. Okay.
As I said, I was cutting a lot of ideas, putting a lot of ideas together, taking characters, putting characters in, taking characters out, trying to shape the story to how I felt it would go across without going too far.
Yeah. Give the folks at home an
and
overview of the book.
my mum is thrilled. She said when I showed her the book, the first thing she said was, "Did you actually write that yourself, or are you claiming somebody else's work?" And I said, "No, I've written it myself. I've even dedicated it to you." And she went, "Really?" And when she opened up the cover and saw the dedication, I think she practically like fainted. I was like, Mum, you okay?" And then she came to and she went, my son has written a book. I could not be more happy. I am finally proud of you."
Amazing, amazing. That's awesome that you've got a fan in your mom. You dedicated the book to her. I think that's terrific. Give the folks at home an overview of the story. Tell them a little bit about the book.
So basically, it's a sort of redemption story via the paranormal. Henry VIII is on his final days. He's quite ill, and he has the one last sort of Christmas hurrah. And then, as he's celebrating, he starts seeing ghosts, and he thinks something's not quite right. He thinks somebody's playing jokes on him. So he brings in two priests. One is the infamous Archbishop Thomas Cramner, and the other is Bishop Stephen Gardiner. And they work together as a team to try and solve what has happened, but they are failing greatly because they don't realise that nobody's pulling these pranks, nobody's pulling these stories. It's actually happening. And then there's sort of like a moment where one of the priests get possessed by Cardinal Wolsey's ghost. Then in the end they fail the king. The king gets quite ill. He doesn't know what's happened, and then he finally repents. He finally gives in. He repents. He goes to his deathbed. He's not well, and as he's losing consciousness, he comes to the realization that what he's done has affected him, and then he goes with those famous monks, and he's gone.
Yeah, it's an amazing story. Very, very original. Very, very compelling. Are you working on any new books?
I have got a second one out. It's called The Swan Master. This one's set in Victorian England and is pure fiction. Trying to recapture some fantasy stories that I read as a child, i.e. Water Babies, The Wind in the Willows, things like that. I've actually got a copy of it here.
Wonderful.
Don't know if you can see that.
Yep, I do. That's awesome.
This one is about a young Victorian girl and her brother who get turned into swans, and they get help through mystical deities and friends on the local river to help them get back to being humans again.
Wonderful.
This one I knocked out maybe quite quickly because it's quite a short story, but then, as I said, I was trying to recapture stories that I read as a child. And yes, I will be writing more books, hopefully, in the near future.
Well, that's wonderful. Do you think it'll be more historical fiction?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the idea, yeah.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And the book you just showed us, who's the audience for that book? What age groups? What is it for adults? Is it for children? The one about the swans.
A bit like Harry Potter, I'd say.
Maybe
A bit
young
like
adult.
Harry Potter, I'd say. Children and adults.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
bit
Who
like
are your
a bit like that.
influences? Do you like to read as well?
Yes, oh yes. My main inspiration uh, as a child was a I can't remember his name. He wrote a book called The Animals of Farthing Wood, and I had loads of those books as a
Hmm,
child, and I've still
wonderful,
got one today. Um,
wonderful.
Other inspirations include A. Milne, Beatrix
Mhm.
Potter, J.K. Rowling, Arthur Conan Doyle, H.G. Wells, Charles Dickens.
All right. Well, that's quite a long list of wonderful
Um,
inspirations there. And
oh
the
yes,
research has paid off because this book is just terrific. It is called The Ghost of Henry VIII, A Tudor Haunting. It is a gripping historical fiction thriller written by Keith Coy that blends royal drama with chilling paranormal twists. It is set during the final days of King Henry VIII's reign, and it is a story that explores the dark and ghostly reckoning of a monarch haunted by his past. If you're into haunted history, Tudor era intrigue, and supernatural suspense, this book is the must read of the year. Keith, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
thank you for having me.
My pleasure. We
It's been a
appreciate your
pleasure
wit, your
talking.
wisdom, and your insight. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time. This time until next time on Spotlight.